Good evening and welcome to The Deep Dive, where we break down the biggest stories making headlines. I'm your name, and today is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. Tonight's focus, the federal sex trafficking trial of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, now wrapping its second explosive week in Manhattan federal court. This week's testimony painted a chilling picture of violence, manipulation, and celebrity power abused. Among the most high-profile witnesses, rapper Kid Cudi, who took the stand Thursday to testify about a frightening chain of events that began when he dated Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Federal prosecutors allege that for decades, Combs used his fame, fortune, and business network to orchestrate a secretive web of sex trafficking, coercion, and violence. Prosecutors claim he ran what they described as freak-offs, marathon sexual encounters involving women who were abused, drugged, and manipulated. Combs, now 55, faces charges of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The indictment also links him to violent methods of intimidation, including kidnapping, gun threats, and even arson, as part of a years-long effort to keep victims silent. Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Mescudi, provided testimony that brings those accusations to life. According to Cudi, he began a romantic relationship with Cassie Ventura in 2011, believing that she and Combs had already broken up. But when Combs found out, things took a dark turn. Cudi said Combs went looking for him and ultimately broke into his home. Cudi returned one day to find his house ransacked, his dog locked in the bathroom, Christmas presents torn open, and his home security cameras tampered with. No arrests were made, but it didn't end there. Shortly after that incident, Cudi's Porsche was destroyed in a fiery explosion, set ablaze in his own driveway with what he described as a Molotov cocktail. Eventually, the rapper confronted Combs at a private club in Los Angeles. Cudi described the encounter as strange. Combs was calm, eerily calm, almost like a movie villain. He offered water, denied setting fire to the car, and gave a vague apology. It wasn't just the fire that unnerved Cudi, it was the feeling of being watched, hunted, and intimidated. His testimony reinforces what prosecutors allege is a long-standing pattern of retaliation against those who threaten to expose the truth. But Cudi wasn't the only voice heard in court today. Several witnesses took the stand, each adding new layers to the prosecution's narrative. George Kaplan, Combs' former executive assistant, testified about violent outbursts and disturbing behind-the-scenes behavior. He said he quit after witnessing several alarming incidents, including physical altercations and threats. Mila Morales, a well-known makeup artist, testified she saw Cassie with facial injuries after an altercation with Combs at a Los Angeles hotel. Another witness, Frederick Zemmer, a hotel manager in Beverly Hills, described the aftermath of Combs' stays. According to Zemmer, whenever Combs left, the hotel rooms required deep cleaning due to their condition. And then there's the digital evidence. Joshua Croft, a federal computer forensics expert, testified that he extracted files from 3 of Cassie Ventura's laptops, offering potentially vital records of messages, images, and timelines that may support her claims. Sean Combs, once considered royalty in the music world, now sits in a Brooklyn jail without bail. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he could face life in prison. The courtroom is packed daily. Onlookers include journalists, celebrities, and supporters on both sides. The jury, 12 New Yorkers with 6 alternates, will ultimately determine Combs' fate. But it's clear this case is about far more than one man. It's about power, fame, and whether justice can hold up when the accused is a cultural icon. And remember, this is just week 2 of what's expected to be an 8-week trial. The prosecution is still building its case, and the defense will have its turn to challenge every witness and detail. Already, courtroom analysts say this may become one of the most significant celebrity trials since Harvey Weinstein. The charges are broader, the accusations darker, and the implications massive. To recap today's key developments, Kid Cudi testified that Combs broke into his home and his Porsche was set on fire after he dated Cassie. Several other witnesses described violence, cover-ups, and disturbing hotel incidents. Forensics teams are combing through digital evidence. Combs remains behind bars, facing life if convicted. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs wrapped up its second week on Thursday in Manhattan Federal Court, where rapper Kid Cudi testified about his relationship with Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in the sex trafficking case. Federal prosecutors say that for decades, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women to participate in marathon sexual encounters called freak-offs, and used his business empire, along with guns, kidnapping, and arson, to conceal his crimes. The 55-year-old hip-hop mogul has been charged with sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Mescudi, told the court that he started dating Ventura in 2011 when she told him that she and Combs had split up. Kid Cudi testified that after Combs found out he was seeing Ventura, Combs went looking for him and broke into his home. Kid Cudi also testified that his Porsche was later set on fire with a Molotov cocktail in his driveway. The rapper said he eventually confronted Combs during a meeting at a private club in Los Angeles, where Combs denied setting fire to his car. Other witnesses testifying on Thursday included George Kaplan, Combs' former executive assistant who quit after witnessing several violent incidents, Mila Morales, a makeup artist who saw Ventura with facial injuries following an altercation with Combs at a Los Angeles hotel, Frederick Zemmer, a hotel manager in Beverly Hills who testified that a room would require deep cleaning after Combs' frequent stays, and Joshua Croft, a federal computer forensics agent who said he extracted data from 3 of Ventura's laptops. Combs has pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he could face life in prison. He is being held without bail in a Brooklyn jail. A jury of 12 New Yorkers and 6 alternates will decide his fate. The trial is expected to last at least 8 weeks. Court will not be in session on Friday. Testimony will resume on Tuesday, May 27th, since Monday is Memorial Day. Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi, the rapper, said he and Cassie briefly dated in 2011. He described Diddy breaking into his apartment and calling him to tell him, "I'm here, waiting for you." He says his dog had been shut in the bathroom, and in a later text to Diddy said, "You broke into my house, messed with my dog, I don't want to talk to you." He said later his Porsche was firebombed with a hole cut in the roof of the car and a Molotov cocktail dropped into the driver's seat, writing it off. When he later had a meeting with Diddy and asked him about burning his car, Diddy said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Cudi said Diddy looked like a Marvel supervillain during one meeting they had about Cassie. Cudi says Diddy told him he had still been dating Cassie during their relationship, with Cudi telling him, "Cassie told me you were broke up and I took her word for it." Cudi says he saw Diddy once a few years later at Soho House with his daughter, and Diddy told him, "Man, I just want to apologize for all that bullshit." During his cross-examination, the defense suggested Cassie had been living 2 different lives, and that she played both Cudi and Combs. Cudi agreed she had. Cudi said his relationship with Cassie ended because the drama was too out of hand.